Welcome to this week's episode of The Last Time We Spoke. It's your host, Joe, with my co-host from the Midwest,
Joe and Dullah from that town, West Side, though.
And this week's episode is going to focus on interracial relationships. All right, Brother Dullah. So, Brother Dullah, what are your views on interracial relationships, interracial dating?
My view into interracial dating is, well, I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? Being a black man in his 30s with, who's the youngest of 8 children, therefore my parents are the ages of most of my peers' grandparents. You know what I mean? So that's a whole other generation, and their view on interracial dating relationships is different than that of today, of course. So, but mother, she's from a small town in Louisiana, Chatham, Louisiana. It's Mary McKinney, and she never told me not to date outside my race. Now, I can tell by some of her actions, not her actions, but her statements that she would prefer me to be with a black woman. And I did end up marrying a black woman, but my father, on the other hand, he was the exact opposite. He always told me to marry a sister or be with a sister, and white folks, they think they're better than you, and no matter what happens, you'll always be a nigga to them, and this and that and the other. But as he got older, God rest his soul, he sort of changed. I'm thinking a lot of it has to do, it's going to sound weird, but a lot of it has to do with Obama becoming president. Not so much that Obama was president, the fact that he lived to see a black man become president, which made him reevaluate a lot of his old ways of thinking. Like, they'll never do this, they'll never do that, they'll always do this, they'll always do that. A lot of that shit went out the window.
About racial black man?
I know he's biracial.
You think that no, I'm asking, you think that helped that? Or did it hurt it? Or was it neutral?
Probably neutral, but the fact that he identified as a black man, and my father, who came up in the fucking 50s, lived to see a black man become president, and made him reevaluate. I had this conversation with him before he passed, actually. So it made him reevaluate a lot of things in the way he used to think. And then the fact that my brother is married to a white woman, he has unconditional love for his son, of course, and he always talked about how good that my brother's wife treated him. So it made him change his views. And a lot of times that's all you need, just a different perspective. I think hatred or racism is something that's definitely taught. And he just pretty much was regurgitating what he's been taught. And what he's seen, what he's been taught by not only by listening, but by seeing, and you know what I'm saying? And what's going on around me. Yeah, experience. So times change, people evolve, and as far as my personal opinion on dating somebody outside my race, I would be with anyone who loves me, because life is too motherfucking short to worry about what another motherfucker thinks. You know what I'm saying? As a black man, if I'm with a white woman, I know the sister's gonna look at me like he's weak. Every stereotype go with he's weak. He's only with that white woman because he can outrun him and overthrow her and overpower her. She's submissive. She do what the fuck he wants, and he can do whatever the hell he wants, or she got money or whatever the negative stereotype that goes with it is. But that white woman, Asian woman, Latino woman, whatever woman loves me and holds me down with me unconditionally, but a black woman who doesn't, if there is a black woman who doesn't, why the fuck would I choose to stay with the black woman and be fucking miserable if I can be happy with somebody who loves me? You know what I'm saying? So that's my views on it. And having the name Abdullah it definitely doesn't help as far as the way they view me. I don't give a fuck. I love my name. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like,
yeah.
They expect a brother named Abdullah to say, stay with your own race, black for black, and this is not who I am. I do feel like black is beautiful and black for black, and I am married to a sister. But what I'm saying is, man, be with who the fuck loves you, man. Don't spend your life getting miserable, getting yelled at by somebody, not because she's black, it can be anyway, being in a combative relationship, a sexless relationship, you know what I'm saying? A relationship where y'all have nothing in common, y'all don't even like the same shit, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have the same views, don't have the same taste. Don't be with somebody or you have to be miserable and you only stand with them for the sake of children. That's all I'm saying. It don't matter what her race is. If she loves you, I'm all for it. That's my view on it. What's your view on it?
Well, no secret to you, but this hasn't been discussed on here. I'm in a relationship. My past, teen relationships have been interracial. Like, I haven't ever been in a true relationship with a black woman. Like, I've been with black women. I haven't been in a relationship with one. Like, now, just like you said, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks, because when I did want a black woman, and it's not to say that I'm not attracted to black women. I'm to this day attracted to black women. Like I said, I don't care how you look. Shit, if you're attracted to me, you're attracted. But when that was all I cared about, they didn't care about me. And this ain't no, like, malice in my heart about this. I finally got to the point where I accepted what you're saying. I love who loves me, or like who like me. And that gave so many people a chance. And that gave me a chance to look outside of what was shaped for me. Now, where I come from, in Fifth Ward, you know what I'm saying, it are merely black and there's Mexican. And, like, we grew up around each other to the point that sometimes it ain't looked upon as like, oh, that's a Mexican, or you might be with some Mexican people, Hispanic, Latinx, whatever they want to identify it as. And it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, that's a black person. Like, my sister's, my baby sister, her best friend, like, her fiance is Mexican. Her best friend, I don't know if they still are, but were Mexican. Like, she had, like, a lot of, you know, more so than anybody else, Mexican friends of my family. Like, not that we, like, hated Mexicans or anything. But, I went to a high school that was, like, 90% Mexican, like, not other Latin race, like, Mexican. It was in Mexican neighborhood and shit. Like, it was like that. Like, and, like I said, shit, it gets to the point where it's like, damn, I'm gonna stop doing what I'm expected to do and do what's best for me, you know what I'm saying? And shit, like, to stop beating around the bush. Like, it's getting some pussy. Like, shit, you ain't give me no pussy. I'm going to whoever gonna give me the pussy. So, shit, I had to do what I had to do. Now, here's the thing. There are common misconceptions that come along with this. Just like you said, like, oh, you're doing this because you are this or she's that, and blah, blah, blah. And shit, anything that you can ascribe to somebody in life should be based on an individual basis. The person I'm with, for instance, I'll be damned if she let me run over her. Like, I try my damnedest, but I'll be damned if she let me run over her. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, like, you know me as a person, it ain't because I'm a weak motherfucker. It's to her will, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that this isn't a relationship where I'm in charge. I'm not in charge, and shit. Not that it even matters to me, but she defers to me. Like, I've done a lot I've changed her more than she's changed me, and that's not to make myself sound superior. Like, there's been, when we started dating, she didn't know how to cook. She wouldn't cook. Now she cooks most of the meals. Like, she does all this type of shit that wasn't coming to her. And if we're going to be a buck about the shit, white privilege would dictate that she doesn't have to. But, like, I'll work with her on certain shit. Like, I know how I want to be treated. That's why I tell her all the time. Like, shit, don't get mad at me because you've been treated a certain way. I know how I want to be treated, and I want to accept less than, you know what I'm saying? And she chose to accommodate that. She, like, accommodates me in that sense. Like, it ain't no, she has to come down here. I'm up here, and I'm not saying she wasn't up, but, like, she had to reach higher. You know what I'm saying? And if for no other reason, because I'm older than her. But she's not dealing with a boy. So for anybody who might be listening to this thinking, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's because black people who do this, they just dealing with little boy. No, she's not dealing with a boy. Like, I was out-earning her. Well, shit, I am out-earning her. She thinks I'm smarter than her. She's smart as shit, but she thinks I'm smarter than her. Whether or not that's true. Not any of the shit that you're going to try to, like, counter with, believe me, that's not the case. And if you care to debate about it or whatever, try, and you'll see pretty soon that it ain't the case on both our parts. Because regardless of what I feel, while I'm with her, you ain't gonna disrespect her. You damn sure ain't gonna disrespect me. But anyway, back to the subject. There's this misconception, like I said, that a whole race is this and a whole race is that. Like, she's not that as a person. And that's what we get into the most confrontations about. And that's what I admire about her. Like, she is secure enough in herself that she ain't just going to let me walk over her. Like, I have to try. You know what I'm saying? I put some effort into all this shit that I did. Like, I'm not saying I own this person, but the molding I did came with a lot of cuts on my hand. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just soft clay and bam, you got the sculpture, or soft marble, or chisel and marble when I got the sculpture. I had to do this and do that, and had to do some other shit, and it was some back and forth shit. But, excuse me, like I said, it ain't like, you know what I'm saying, it's what everybody always thinks that you pointed out. Like, and I'm not saying that's not true for some people. That very well may be true. But don't assume when you see somebody, because that's, like you said, I know, I've met your brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's one person I know that's in a relationship, interracial relationship. I know two other people I've grown up with, and I know more people, but two other people I've grown up with when I did have a social media presence. One is engaged to a white young lady, and one is with a white young lady. And they're like best friends and shit. But we all come from the hood. It ain't like no, oh yeah, these motherfuckers come from, man, I come from motherfucking the bottom of the bottom. And he used to say, I come from Fifth Ward, fucking Texas, man. Like, that's the neighborhood where if you black and you was from like one of those neighborhoods that used to be the suburbs, like Homestead or Fontaine or Harlem Park, whatever, when you think about my neighborhood, you know we get down and shit, but you're like, oh, it's boring there. Like, we do this type of shit, like, this is stupid-ass hood shit. Like, we throw rocks at each other and shit, stupid shit like that. Because we ain't got the money to have basketball goals and shit. Like, if it ain't at the park, we ain't got it, you know what I'm saying? But still, so it ain't like these motherfuckers was just, they came from a position of privilege and like, well, that's just who was around me. That stereotypical shit where it's like, the Oreo shit, as we used to call it back in the 90s. These ain't no Oreos. Like, I know these brothers. Like,
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so of the, I don't say negative. As far as questions, you know the stereotypes that come with it, and people ask you stupid ass questions, or give you weird, sisters give you weird, funny looks and shit. So, can you tell me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's happened. Like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So, back in the day, I couldn't articulate some of the stuff I said earlier as well. Like, I just be like, man, I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, race doesn't matter to me. Color doesn't matter to me. Shit, if you purple and you look good, I used to say shit like that. But I had this incident where I was, over the holidays, I was at, like, my cousin's house and shit. And we were talking or whatever. Like, it was a group of people, female cousins. Like, her, a friend, educated, and these are educated black women. These ain't, I'm not saying that, like, oh, they better than anybody you might think of. But I'm giving context to the situation. So these are educated, college-educated black women. One is a lawyer. The other is an entrepreneur. So, they're having this conversation. Two black women, two black young professionals, my cousin's mom, and a young black man, and an older black male. We having this conversation about, they were having a conversation. I was doing some other shit at first. They were having a conversation, and they asked me in and shit. And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they feel everything I'm saying. Then I guess I was like, yeah. My girlfriend was like, she's white. And I'm like, she's white? It was a little fucking, you were a white girl. The goddamn record scratch and shit. And it's like the head turning all that shit. But, so I said the same thing that I said. Like, I couldn't articulate as well. Yeah, I like, well, you know. No, I didn't say that. I said, oh, you know, if you purple, you look good, you know. And the dude was like, so you like whoever likes you? I'm like, nah. Because I kind of took it as, like, he was trying to be combative. Which he wasn't. I was like, nah. But that's it. That's it. I like who likes me, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about, I have a preference for a certain type of female. So that's not true at all. Like, when I got into the relationship with the person I'm in a relationship with, it was after I had been in a relationship with a Latin girl, a Latin young lady, not even young lady because she's older than me, a Latin woman. Before that, it was a couple Latin women in a row. Yeah. But it wasn't like I was like, man, I got to go out here and get a Latina. Or I got to go out and get this and go out and get that. Man, I was single, you know what I'm saying? And I was doing my thing until I felt like I wanted to be in a relationship. Then it was that. And, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like when I got into this current relationship, like, oh, yep, it's time for a white girl. I wasn't that at all. Like, she got me, you know what I'm saying? We clicked like that, like, on an intellectual level. Like, I'm not one of the type of people who use that term sapiosexual, like, shit. I think that's always been a prerequisite. Oh, sapiosexual is people, I'm trying to explain. Sapiosexual are people who claim to be, you know, like, intrigued, turned on by intelligence. Like, intelligence is a strong prerequisite. Like, it's what they're turned on by. It ain't a strong prerequisite. It's a requirement.
Might be me then. Shit, that's definitely a requirement.
No, listen to what I was about to say. That's why I was like, I ain't a sapiosexual. That's always something I needed, and it ain't the prime. Like, for those type of people, it's like you need that. Like, and it goes into the point where, like, just a discussion, certain type of things about intellect literally turn you on, and that ain't what happens with me. It's just that my idea of somebody I want to be with, you have to be intelligent. I'm not a sapiosexual. I do.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I do. Like, you know what I'm saying, that is a good thing. Like, the person I'm with, like I said, she is smart in another way. Like, she has a very traditional, like, traditionally Western European, like, she's science smart, like she's a, you know what I'm saying, like that type of shit, you know what I'm saying. But she prefers to be on a lot of things. Like, she, look, to give a perspective, I keep saying this shit before I go into that long ass tirade that I don't even need to be a tirade. She's the type of motherfucker, she says, I think I know everything. I don't. Like, I'm like, you don't give yourself as much credit as you should. Like, I don't. Like, I talk about shit.
My wife says stuff.
Yeah,
I think all smart people get that shit. And you call me arrogant or whatever.
Because people feel intimidated. Yeah, people. Yeah, you're right. People feel intimidated. Yeah,
I don't think.
Like, I don't. Yeah, exactly. But you can't tell people that shit. But yeah, just for context, I used to think that was only something black people said, because in my experience, only black people told me that shit. And when I get a smart fucking white woman telling me that shit, it don't make me think, oh, I do know everything. It's like, damn, people really think I know everything. It wasn't like, oh shit, I made it now. The white woman didn't fucking validated me. Like, no, it's the exact opposite. Oh, people do think I know everything. Anyway, like she's smart.
Superior.
Go ahead. Exactly. They project it on you.
Yeah, they project it on you. Yeah. Think you know everything. No, I'm telling you the best way to handle this situation. I told you to do this. You didn't do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I won't even take it that far with me.
Yeah, let's do it like this. I'm going to ask you, since you're in an interracial relationship, some of the stereotypical questions. And I'm asking the male this, so you know.
Go ahead.
And we'll be done that fuck shit. Okay.
Man, ask me what you want to ask me.
I'm saying, when it comes to dating different cultures, different races, there's stereotypes, both male and female. But I'm talking to a male, so I'm telling the viewers, and there don't be none of that fuck shit going on. All right. So,
I just made it through this whole bottle. I ain't even know it.
So, all right. One of the main questions to come up is the family. Like, how does your family feel about your partner, and how does her family feel about you?
So, the most important people to me and my family are, and this ain't in order of importance, but like I told y'all the last episode I was on, I come from, that was the last episode. I come from matriarchal family. My grandmother's still alive. It is my grandmother's family. And so my grandmother, my mother, and then everybody else is on the equal, like, platform. Like, after that, everybody's equal. So my grandmother, she's the first person in the family to meet her. They met when we went to Coachella 2014, I think. We drove down my grandmother just so happened to be in Long Beach at my aunt's house. Drove down Long Beach. They met each other. Grandmother didn't drop some dimes on me. Oh yeah, he's spoiled and all this shit, you know, blah, blah, blah. Every time I talk to my grandmother, she's old school. She don't say it, but I can tell that she think, oh, y'all shacking up. She's old school. But so she'll be like, how's your friend? And like she used to be like that actually. She don't say that as much now. So no, I'm like, oh yeah, she cool, blah blah blah. And whenever we moved back to Texas, like I'd invite her down or whatever, but we had two extremely different schedules. Like she works on the weekends, and I go to Houston on the weekends. And I'm like, oh yeah, she did. And I'm sure for the longest, and I know, not just because I speculated that shit, because pretty much both sides told me. She thought like I was hiding her, and they thought I was hiding her. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, shit, she got to work, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one of the times we planned to do it, like, her grandmother got sick. You know what I'm saying? And she had to stay here. And so, but when my grandmother talks to me, and she's around, or if she isn't around, I love y'all. So that says it right there. My grandmother is love. My mother, same thing. She hasn't met her because my mother lives and works in North Carolina, and she only gets to come out here on certain occasions. And the same situation applies. My girl has to work. So this past a couple weeks ago, I tried to make that happen, but the same thing happened, and unfortunately, her grandmother passed. So like it couldn't happen for sure. But same thing. My mom, my mother. I love y'all. Now I know with my mother, if not with both of them, it's more of a I love you and I'm happy that you're happy. But what comes out of their mouths is I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's all that matters. I remember a couple of years back when I was dating this Mexican chick, she put on Facebook with blah, 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 you know, with me and shit. And I was like, nah, like I don't get down like that. Don't put that shit. And to the females listening out there, I sound like a horrible person, and I am, and I own that shit, and I'm working on it. Anyway, she put the whole in relationship thing, and I didn't accept it to make that shit worse. And my cousin was talking to me, like, oh, yeah, we thought you had a baby and all these rumors came out of that shit. And then she's like, you like white girls? Or she asked me, like, would you date a white girl? I was like, yeah. The way she looked at me, was like, you disappointed and shit.
Was that your mother?
No, my cousin. Hell no, not my cousin. Shit, yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how my mother feels about but like I said, as far as I know, she's okay with the shit. But my cousin looked at me like she was kind of like disappointed that this was before I even dated her or I even knew her. But that's, you know what I'm saying, I didn't give a fuck. But yeah, so my family, like the people in my family that matter, like they're okay with it. Now with her family, like shit, I've met her family before I even got out of the military. They came down to Sacramento when I was living in Sacramento. We met, and we met at a halal restaurant, and the first comment I got back from her afterwards was that her mother was like, well, at least he's cute, you know what I'm saying? At least he's handsome. But no, like, her parents are the same way. As long as she's happy, they're happy. But her parents do accept me. If anything, I'm the one who's not receptive because of my disposition. Like, I'm not a person, I don't warm up to people easily, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to trust you to warm up to you. And, like, once I do, you probably think I'm bipolar. Like, this motherfucker went from this to this. Like, nah, I just don't treat everybody the same way. I'll be the first person to admit that shit. But, she has a small family, especially compared to mine. Like, I have an enormous family, but she has a small family, especially compared to mine. Damn, I left this out. She did eventually make it down to Fifth Ward. Like, we were at my grandmother's house. She saw my grandmother for the first time since Long Beach. She came to listen, man. As long as I've been alive, my grandparents had that house. Like, even when my parents had places, my grandparents had the house. Like, I lived there through high school. Like, there was always a place, like, every day. It was a point in time where every day, every person in my family came through that, like, literally on a daily basis would come through that house. Like, that's the most important place to me in the world. My grandmother's the most important, you know what I'm saying? I love my mother. It ain't like I'm saying I don't love my mother. But, like, 1A is my grandmother, 1B is my mother. It ain't like we got no beef or nothing, but that's my grandma. Like, nah. Like, so, for her to meet her is one thing, but for her to come to that house, there's a whole other fucking thing. Like, and that pretty much sealed it. Like I said, that's what I was alluding to earlier. When my grandmother went from, how's your friend, to, like, my honey. She'd be like, your honey. Like, she'll be joking with my aunt. Like, yeah, I guess I'll just go live with him and his honey. You know. But anyway, like, she has a small family compared to mine. She's the only child at that in her immediate family. And from what I know, everybody in her family likes me. So it ain't even an issue. Like, it ain't like the whole, I didn't have the get out feeling. I didn't have the get out feeling. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all who seen the get out, go ahead.
So you wasn't in the sunken place.
I wasn't in the sunken place. Like, me being me, I had that feeling going into it. I'm like, man, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, blah, blah, blah. But, like, her parents are cool. Like, well, shit. For context, first and foremost, her father, though he's not her biological father, isn't even white. So, he's South Asian, you know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't even, and not saying that means he's automatically excluded from being racist or from treating me in a hostile manner, but that's just for context. But, no. Me and her family get along well. I just met her paternal grandfather. Excuse me, I'm about to have a burp, bro. Excuse me. I just met her paternal grandmother, for the first time after her maternal grandmother passed. And shit, like, I made them some gumbo cause I made her mom some gumbo because of her mom. And that's what kind of like what we used to kind of like bond. Not that we needed anything, but like I'll cook, like every blue moon, like I'll cook something and we'll like have a dinner. But that's what they cook and we'll go over or whatever fuck. And, her parents, they think I don't like them. I'm just, I'm an introverted person unless I fuck with you. And, like, it can never be like that with her parents because they're her parents. It ain't that I don't fuck with them. It's that they're her parents. Like, it's not organic. You know what I'm saying? They're not the type of people I would hang out with otherwise, even though I found that they're good people. Like, I would now that I know, but it wouldn't be like, being prejudiced, prejudging them. I wouldn't be like, yeah, I hang out with these people. No. They're good people. Like, so, family-wise, we straight on that end. Extended family, can't speak on that. Huh?
They don't think them?
What'd you say?
The parents don't think you like them?
Yeah. They don't think I like them because I don't speak much around them. Like, shit like that. Not like I'm, like, hostile toward them. Like, I just don't, like, I'm not open like they're used to. And I might be exaggerating on that they don't think I like them. They know I'm not as open around them. So like that. And I know this because speaking on that gumbo, when I made her a gumbo, like she said that shit tongue in cheek, I'm sure. She's like, "You do love us." Like her mom. But nah, like we get along well. Like it ain't like whatever they think of me, whatever they think that I think of them, we get along well. Like it ain't no animosity.
All right, let me, man, I supposed to go to another question a long time ago. It seems like I'm narrating the shit now.
Yeah, you're supposed to, shit. It was your question. That's why I was like, shit. I said host and co-host because that's what came to my mind. That wasn't what I wanted to say.
What kind of test I mean, wouldn't it be easier? Nah.
No, shit. You're going to edit anyway.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We covered all these questions. Nope. Yeah, do people stare at you when you're out?
Hell yeah.
I'm asking you.
Hell yeah.
So when you two are out together, movies, dinner, wherever, do you get weird looks from other people? Like, do people stare at you?
Without doubt. Like, now, I've had the privilege of living in places where I've seen a lot of interracial dating. Like, when I lived in Sacramento, the portion I lived in, I'd always noticed a lot of interracial. And let me be specific. I'd always noticed a lot of black and white interracial dating. Like, there's interracial dating everywhere. But, like, there was a lot of black and white interracial dating. But still, it would be like I remember, for instance, before I started dating her, I went to the movies with this one female, and I don't know if she took it as that she didn't, I don't know, she might have thought she was intellectually superior to me, or she really didn't understand, but she was like, "Why is everybody staring at us? Like, what? Why is everybody?" I was like, Like, and I don't know, like, man, shit, I don't want to be the one to break it to you. Like, if this is new to you, you know what I'm saying? I'm being facetious saying that. But anyway, yeah, so when we were in Sacramento, like, not so much, but there are certain things we do, yeah. Here, same thing. Like, it's supposedly a liberal area. But nah, hell yeah. Like, most definitely. And it mostly comes from, as most people who listen to this would expect, it mostly comes from the black community. It mostly comes from, like, black women. There's this thought that they are taking our men. Like I said, man, like, when all I wanted was black women, I wasn't what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't what they wanted. I'm not gonna, like, blame them for that, but I wasn't what they wanted. When we went to Jamaica, like, it was like, and granted, motherfuckers are just trying to make a buck. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home. And blah, blah, blah. And still, I can see the looks. Like, man, this motherfucker. Like, yeah, everybody, yeah, nothing but looks. Like, nobody ever approaches me. Nobody ever says anything. But yeah, it's nothing but looks. Like, we go and do shit. Like one of the things I like to do, and she likes to do as well. One of the things we bond over is traveling. So even around here, like when we travel, when we go to rural areas, it's less than when we're somewhere here. Like we live in a suburb, so when we're in suburbs, like, yeah, that happens. Like all the time.
Let me say this. I'm married to a black woman, but I've dated outside of my race. I mean, I've been in, whether or not they were serious relationships or not, I'm just going to call them all serious just for the sake of them listening to this, but I've been with multiple races, man, and I remember going out, like walking through the mall or going to the movie or going out to eat, and the stares I would get. And like you said, most of the time it was from black women, man. They would always give me that death stare, like, why are you with her? Or I'm a sellout. They didn't say that verbally, but their eyes said it.
Yeah, you can see it, yeah.
Rolling their eyes and shit. And my own sister, when she found out I talked to a white girl, she said, she wanted to sit me down and have a speech about it. Don't be with her, and, you know what I'm saying, you need to do your own kind. And being that she's my sister, I just let her talk. But in my mind, I'm like, man, come on, man, I'll be with who the fuck I want to be with. Now, she didn't know.
Exactly.
Me and this girl was just having fun, and we were cool, you know what I mean? But we weren't about to get married or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I don't understand why those looks come. Well, I do understand why, but most of the time it's the black woman who gives that look or the white man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you are totally right about that. You are totally right about that.
The white man.
With context.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say with context, things will be more understandable. But like, you're totally right. From my experience, you're right.
The white man thinks we're not good enough to be with this beautiful white woman, and especially if we're who we are, like we're hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can see if he was a black guy from the suburbs who spoke well. You know what I'm saying? The fact is that we're both black men, but we still from a certain environment where we can speak to anybody from the street to the White House. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. Sometimes I might be in a t-shirt and jeans, and you know what I'm saying, my hair cut a certain way, and I got some Air Force on, some Jordans on. I don't really wear Jordans because everybody else do, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes what I'm saying is when you see me, my presentation says hip-hop. Now, I might not have my pants sacking, but I ain't had my pants sacking in the 90s, really, so that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? But my presentation says hip-hop. So if I'm with a beautiful woman from another race, especially a white woman, the white man gonna look at me like, why the fuck is she with this gangbanger? You know what I'm saying? And the sister's gonna look at me like, you know what I'm saying, I'm this, I'm that, and the other, I'm fine, I'm this, whatever. Why the fuck do I gotta go get a white woman? I'm only with her because she's weak. What's our stereotype? I'm only with her because she's weak. I'm only with her because she got money. I'm only with her because she gives head. Like every bitch gives head. Come on, man. I'm just saying, why is it never the black man looking at me that way or the white woman? Definitely the black man doesn't look at me that way.
Well, for multiple reasons, the two most prominent being the way it makes, like the perception of the race is held, or it makes the race look on both instances, and two, like the biological implications, like for the purists, like, oh, the white male is like, she's gonna go off and have this mixed breed baby, and with all the racist shit that they have, the racist white people, Well, shit, if you act like that, I'm just going to chalk it up to racism. So it's like, oh, he's going to have this mixed breed baby that's like, what do they call that shit? An abomination. That's what they say, an abomination. The black woman, it's the same thing, but also like, oh, we're not good enough. They internalize that as we're not good enough. Like, we've done this all this shit for you. Like, we've, you know what I'm saying, been by your side. Blah, blah, blah. They make it this about that. In addition to the whole, like I was saying earlier, like, oh, you're going out and spread the black seed with somebody else. So to address the first point, from the black perspective, like I can only marginally speak on the white perspective, like the point I said. But from the black perspective, the black female not being good enough, they feel like, oh, you still by your side when this happened and this happened and that happened. Like I said, shit, when all I wanted was a black female, I couldn't get one, and it wasn't like I wasn't trying. It wasn't like I wasn't the same motherfucker I am today. So before everybody is like, oh yeah, because you bossed up, or you like, nah, I've been the same motherfucker for quite a while before motherfuckers start making these assumptions. But the truth is, like I said, a lot of motherfuckers feel like it's a fight against them. Now, I would never think if a sister would go out and date somebody outside the race that it was some reflection on me. That's a reflection on her preferences. Yeah. Like, as long as that person, like specifically, and like I said, my baby sister, the one we the most protective over, her fiance is a Hispanic male, a Mexican male. And for perspective on that, like, I've had more racist experiences with Mexican people than white people before people think like, oh, that's just a Mexican. Like, no, it ain't like that. Like, it especially in certain pockets of the country, like, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I've had more racist experiences with Mexican people than white people. So it ain't like, oh, shit, we all minorities. Oh, no, that shit ain't, no. It's not like that. Tell people this all the time, and I'm going to reiterate it right here. Like, as a black male, there's nowhere I can go in the world and not be discriminated against. Like, black people in Africa are going to hate on me, black people in America, and white and other people anywhere. Like, it comes with that. So don't sit here and think that I'm giving people a pass because they're not white. Not at all. So anyway, like, shit. Like I said, that ain't none of my business, first and foremost. But as long as you treat them right, especially if they're related to me, as long as you doing right by them, you all right with me. Shit, you making them happy, you all right with me. But for black women, they take it as a personal slight because we are in this rat race together, the professional rat race. Like, with that, the historical aspects of it, of slavery, of, you know, Jim Crow, of civil rights, when welfare was enacted, being if there's a male in the house, you're not going to receive these benefits. So for some people, they chose not to have a male. Even before this, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, men ran out on, left their families because of, you know, the genetic predisposition to doing so because we were used as breeders. It was no familial, you know, environment to reflect upon. It was being used to being broken apart as a family. It was just looks and whistling and all these other things could lead to the demolishment of a black male. Now with that, now in the professional world, who they see as their prime competition as women, they see as their prime competition white women, because I've heard this from feminist mouths, and I do get this argument. I'm not trying to belittle them. When they hear woman, they automatically think white woman. When they hear policies enacted toward women, they think feminists, they think white women, because that's who is represented, like, visually. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get that. Like, I do. But at the same time, to keep it in common lingo, if you want to check it for me, you know what I'm saying, back when I was, you know what I'm saying, just playing high school football, I ain't have shit. Like, just like you were, I was motherfucking, I'm not talking about you, dude. I'm talking about the hypothetical female. I was walking when back in middle school when TLC released the song Scrubs, if you wanted fucking living with your mama just like I was, but you was trying to make me feel like a scrub and all this other bullshit, like, then that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the fucking stereotypical or prototypical nerd, so I ain't gonna sit here and act like that. Like, some motherfuckers, like I said, are just spiteful. It's like, oh, like they do internalize that and try to take it to mean, well, white women are better, or whoever the fuck is better. Like, colorism has a big part in our society, in black society specifically. It's fading out, no pun intended, like, as the generations progress, as we become more conscious of who we are and what we were, as, you know what I'm saying, we get some understanding. But that is a thing. Like, for the longest time, it was light-skinned people had the hierarchy, like, even in dating, especially in dating purposes. Like, people wanted a quote-unquote high yellow girl, you know what I'm saying, a yellow bone. And that was the thing. But as far as the biological aspect, like I said, a lot of people might think like the black male, the white male might think, oh, she's going out here getting pregnant by shit. I ain't gonna fucking bite my tongue on this one. She's going out here being a nigger lover, getting pregnant by these niggers, having these abominations. And the black woman might be thinking the opposite. Well, he's going out here giving this valuable seed to these white wenches or whatever the fuck they might want to call them. But here's the thing about that. When you break it down to the scientific level, there is this process called hybrid vigor, also known as heterosis, which is basically the tendency is defined as the tendency of a crossbreed individual to show qualities superior to those of both parents. And what that means is, if you stay within your race, you're going to perpetuate, you're going to propagate certain genetic deficiencies and, like, positive qualities. You're going to perpetuate those. You're going to propagate those. Like, you see that in everything in nature. When they are interbred to the point of a lot of them of inbreeding. Like, you see that with animals, like, for instance, with dogs. A lot of purebred dogs have specific diseases because you are breeding them with the same type of animal who has the same type of predisposition to a problem. You see that with plants. Like, shit, that's why we don't have certain type of fruits anymore and vegetables, because they were susceptible to the same type of disease because they couldn't combat that. They weren't hard enough to combat that. You see that with people. Like, black people, we're predisposed to sickle cell, high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, and so on and so forth. And white people have their own things. But when you do crossbreed, to sound crude, when you do crossbreed, you have this beautiful thing to where, like I just said, as by the textbook definition, the crossbred individual shows qualities superior to those of both parents. So hopefully, in the best case scenario, and even in a not optimal scenario, my offspring are going to show the positives of my genetics and of their mother's genetics, and they're going to be this thing that's better than either of us could have become, as opposed to if I'm black and my spouse is black, or the person I choose to have a child with is black, then I have to worry more about hypertension, sickle cell, any other deficiency, as well as like the things that go along with that socially. And that goes for white people too. Like, shit, it might sound like I'm poking fun, but like, just sit out in the fucking sun. Your low melanin count. Like, all the shit that goes along with that. So, like, there are reasons that I feel like people are doing that. But
I think it's important to tell the people, you know, both sides, as far as your race, your nationality.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So, this is going to be a long story but not a long story per se. Just like most black Americans, on my maternal side, my mother's paternal side is Louisiana Creole and like just African American. Her grandfather, my great grandfather, was Louisiana Creole. They thought he was from my grandfather's mouth. Like they, I don't know who they are, whether they be black people or white people or a mixture of both. Thought he was white, but in like quoting him, he was a Frenchman, which I take to mean he was Louisiana Creole. And her grandmother, my great grandmother, was purely African American. She was dark skinned. I'm not saying that makes her purely African American, but like from her features and everything I know about her, like genetically, she was African American. They had the most kids I've ever heard of. They had like 30-some odd kids, and according to my grandmother, even more kids outside of that. And that's going to come back later on in this episode. My mentioning that. So that's my maternal side. But for all intents and purposes, to keep this short, my mother is African American. Now my father, almost the same story, but he was born in Colombia. He's Colombian by nationality, but he's black. But like there's a mixture of like indigenous and all that stuff that comes with. Like for all you people who don't know, like this is always some funny shit. Like it's kind of sad in 2018 that people don't know this. There are black people on every fucking continent except for Antarctica, like permanently that I know of. Like black people on every continent, but like there were more slaves brought to South America, especially Brazil and Colombia, than there were America. So there you go with that shit. But he's black. But like I said, there was definitely some mixture going on. So even just culturally, especially in the time when this happened, like, and I know this not just from my parents' mouth, but from the way like I was treated growing up. Like people don't understand that. Like people don't understand what's different. Like so in Fifth Ward, it was like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you black and Mexican, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican, whatever the fuck. So it wasn't just like she just chose to be back then in the 80s with somebody who's black that spoke Spanish. For them, he might as well have been white. So to them, it is a form of interracial dating. For them, it goes to the point of, like, for all y'all, go ahead.
That's what I was getting at. That's where I was going next.
Yeah.
I looked at it.
For all y'all who might think I'm exaggerating, if you look at it, and this ain't, and who think I'm picking on just black people, it ain't just black people. My birth certificate says mother, black, father, Caucasian. And my father is darker than me. Like, but it says father Caucasian. That's the way people were thought of in those times, you know what I'm saying? I'm not making any excuse, but I'm saying that's how, like, much of a not a risk, but like how left of, you know what I'm saying, far to the left, my mother had to have been thinking, my parents had to have been thinking, because it wasn't just like my mother made the decision. Like my father was definitely involved in this decision too. So it wasn't like shit. I remember going places like, okay, maternally, going to family reunions. Oh yeah, you got good hair, cause like his daddy. Let me try to do my Louisiana. His daddy one of them people. That's that. You know, and when I was with Pops, it was, I'm Americano. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Colombian. I'm Americano. So it wasn't like I ever had like shit. I remember going to places like college-wise. And shit, you can't even say nigga because you ain't black. Nigga, I'm blacker than you. Like literally, I'm blacker than you. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people think. Like so, never mind what the actualities were. It's how people, you know what I'm saying, their perception. So to people's perceptions, I was mixed race. I was treated as somebody who was different from just a black person. And some people like to use that shit to their advantage. I'm sure you've seen it, everybody's seen it. Oh, my family got Indian, and my family, you know, so and so. But that wasn't the case with me. It was like, shit, I just want to be down with y'all, shit. You look like me. Shit, I grew up in this motherfucker, and it wasn't no problem until you learn certain things, like, what the fuck's the problem, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, like, yeah, so, by letter of the law, at least when this shit happened, I'm the product of an interracial relationship myself. But, like I said, my father is black. my mother's black, despite like DNA or whatever the fuck, like might be like. Cause and let me keep it all the way real with this shit too. America is one of the only places, if not the only place, where the one drop rule exists, which is if you have one drop of African blood, you black. Any other places?
That sounds like some shit like that was started by some racist white people.
And exactly, that's what I was
saying. Aryan Brotherhood shit.
Yep. But that was before the Aryan Brotherhood. Shit. So that's what systemic racism is. And it sounds sad nowadays because even like now, like you got people like Sean King, who I don't know shit about him, but he doesn't look like he's black. But people are like, oh, this person is a white person posing as black, whatever the fuck the case may be. I know what the fuck the one drop rule is, and I know that shit. If he can trace one ancestor to Africa, he's black by their terms, and that's what systemic racism is for all the people who deny systemic. That's what systemic racism is: getting to tell you who you are as a person. Like I would never turn my back on my blackness, but there's also the fact that I didn't get to choose what I was. Like I'm proud to be black, but there are some people who, like I said, if they were born in Brazil, they could have chosen to be anything else. If they were born in the Dominican Republic, the same thing. Like, and you see that with people like Sammy Sosa, like to the point where he felt like he had to bleach himself. You know what I'm saying? But moving on.
As always, like, share, subscribe, comment. We appreciate all the listeners. And again, this is the last time we spoke. We appreciate our listening. Until we speak again. Peace.